Track 6, The Fix, Evaluation and Treatment. Now that I've explained the importance of proper foot positioning and how it relates to both sports, performance, and arthritis, I'm sure you're curious about exactly what is it that I do, and how do I find these problems, and perhaps more importantly to you, how do I fix them? Although medical evaluations are certainly commonplace and often comprehensive, biomechanical structural analysis is something most athletes or patients with arthritis have never experienced and most definitely should. Unlike traditional medical exams, usually no laboratory tests or x-rays are needed. Also, unlike traditional doctor visits, which may require some time to see improvements, in many instances my techniques, although not a cure, can often have immediate results. Biomechanics is, as the name implies, the application of physical laws to living entities. More specifically, it involves the forces exerted by muscles and gravity on the skeletal structure. What's most important to you is that those forces are greatly increased with structural abnormalities, and this can be extremely detrimental to both your sports performance and your joints. With the premise I discussed, that is, that no one is structurally perfect and that any abnormality can decrease sports performance and increase arthritic symptoms, structural analysis is designed to find those specific abnormalities and then eliminate or correct them, with the obvious understanding that there's always exceptions to everything. I fully believe that since we all have structural imperfections, everyone, yes everyone, can be made better to some extent. For some with arthritis, it could mean less pain and improved function, and for an athlete, it could just mean the difference in winning a gold medal. Structural abnormalities can be primary or secondary cause of symptoms. Pain in your joints can be due to previously undetected structural problems like a painful knee being caused by a foot that flattens or rolls in. Or since arthritis can deform joints and alter function, they can be a consequence of your arthritis. For example, severe arthritis in your knee can cause you to change the way you're walking and result in other structural problems. Often, by eliminating these causative factors, function and therefore symptoms improve without ever addressing the painful areas. For example, pain in the bottom of the heel of your foot is usually due to a tight calf muscle. Although in some individuals, those areas themselves may need treatment, in many instances, by eliminating the tight calf muscles, the heel pain resolves. This is because the body has the ability to often heal itself if the causative factors are eliminated. Personally, my goal is not just to eliminate symptoms or make someone normal, but to create optimal function. You see, the word normal is often misunderstood to mean perfect, ideal, or healthy. For example, if a child's temperature is said to be normal, it indicates that they don't have a fever. As it relates to structure, normal must be thought of as average, and an average person, again, has some degree of abnormality. So if, for example, you have a foot that flattens or rolls in when standing, I don't think the key should be to just prevent it from rolling in so that it's normal, that is, the same as everybody else's foot, but rather to make that foot function in its ideal or optimal position. It is this optimal position that can maximally reduce joint stress, improve function, and decrease painful symptoms. And the reduction in symptoms can not only be achieved in the feet, but in all the weight-bearing joints those feet support. The pride I take in finding and holding this optimal, functioning position is exemplified in my company's name, Precision Sports Incorporated, and is, frankly, what separates the work I do and the results we get from others. Precise correction translates into exceptional results. Orthotics or foot supports are a good example of the various amounts of correction that can be achieved in the marketplace. Despite their claims, most inserts are nothing more than cushions for the arches of your feet. And while they may be comfortable and sometimes eliminate symptoms, very few really optimize alignment. And that's why, in general, foot inserts have not been shown to increase athletic performance or be as effective as they can be in reducing arthritic symptoms. My evaluation involves only the lower extremity, primarily the feet and lower legs, identifying structural problems in these areas that may also affect not only the joints of the foot, but the weight-bearing joints they support, the ankles, knees, hips, and back. At times, problems with non-weight-bearing joints in the upper extremity can be traced to lower extremity abnormalities too. For example, a golfer with arthritis limiting motion in their lower extremity may have to compensate, causing pain in their wrist or elbow. We see this in many other sports too, where a baseball pitcher, for example, may have shoulder problems because of poor foot positioning, which causes them to roll in or pronate excessively and thus drop their shoulder excessively. After taking history, I evaluate 3 basic components. First, stability and balance for even weight distribution. This has a lot to do with equalizing leg lengths. Then, I look at foot positioning, the tilting of the foot like the loft on a golf club. That is, whether a foot flattens or rolls in, rolls out, or whether someone stands differently on each foot. And finally, I evaluate flexibility, such as tight calf muscles. Your feet are the most important part of the examination. Remember, as I said before, they, and they alone, are the foundation of your entire skeletal system and all of your weight-bearing joints. And yes, if they're out of balance, every single one of those joints they support can and often is affected. Having said this, isn't it interesting how little attention is paid to your feet by most physicians or sports performance experts? I just went for my yearly checkup and was told, "You could leave your socks on, Dr. Pack, because the floor is cold." No gait or walking or even standing analysis was done. Somehow, this type of medical evaluation and treatment has remained, for the most part, neglected. Perhaps many of you have experienced the same thing. And as many great athletes as I have seen over the years, and as surprising as it may seem, none of them have had the type of evaluation I do. At best, if you have flattened feet, some sort of insert, which is usually far from optimally controlling, is recommended, more as an afterthought than with any degree of real concern. Certainly not with the degree of concern or precision that the tires on your car are given.